Do you actually know your break-even ROAS, or you just calculate prices based on your feelings, or you see the prices of competitors and think, yeah, I'm gonna make a same price calculation like all my competitors do, because if they sell it for a cheap or low ticket price, I will do the same. I think, guys, that's not the answer. If you really want to be successful and make good net profits at the end of the month in ecom, you need to know everything about the price calculation and the famous break-even ROAS, which unfortunately nobody ever talks about. It's always about profits and revenue and just the normal ROAS. But before we talk about all of that and get into that and have success in sales and ads, look at the ads manager, etc., you really need to start. You have to go back, have to rewind the tape and start out at the break-even ROAS. That's the most important thing. So today in this video, we will take a look at the definition of what is break-even ROAS and why it is essential to know it before you go into business. And then we also will look at some real life examples and also over here on the right. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here on the right, we have some more real life price calculation examples. Maybe let's start over here with the definitions. So the break-even ROAS stands for return on ad spend, but what kind of return on ad spend you need to break even, which means to have not a loss in your company. Okay, it's the exact ROAS at which your ad campaigns stop losing money and start becoming profitable. And it's all about profit in the end. If your campaigns run below BER, break-even ROAS, you're losing money. If they run above it, you're making profit. So knowing your break-even ROAS before you go into business is essential. Before launching ads is essential because it gives you a clear benchmark. It tells you whether your results are sustainable or just burning cash. Because it's also maybe cool to see 1K days, 2K days. I've in my past have had 3K days, but without profits. So the revenue is totally irrelevant if you can't get the break-even ROAS right. So let's also go over here. In e-commerce, what truly matters is strong gross profits. Without it, once you factor in all the additional costs, they will come, plus inevitable refunds. It's just normal. Some people want to change something. Some people are not happy with the product. You'll be left with only a tiny margin. And that's not what your business should be aiming for, right? So I think before we go to the live examples, we really have to take a look at the formula here. So break-even ROAS is equal to 1 divided by the gross profit margin. What does this mean? It looks a bit strange with this number 1 and then just divided by gross profit margin, right? So the 1 stands for 100% of your revenue. And we need to understand how many times more revenue do we have to produce for every euro spent on ads to break even. And then, of course, to make a profit as well. So the gross profit margin is quite simple to calculate. It's your selling price, let's say 100 euros, minus the cost of goods, let's say 30 euros. So you would be at 70 euros left. And that's your gross profit, right? Before you then have to deduct ads, um, employees, apps, Shopify, etc., etc. So you have 70 euros left, and then we divide it again by the sales price, and then we get the percentage. So you have then 100 minus, let's say, 30 euros cost of goods is equal to 70 euros divided by 100 again. So you will come to 0.7, which is equal to 70%. So it's formula, which is actually has quite a simple outcome. You have 70% gross profit margin for this specific example, right? So let's go to some real life examples. Yeah, let's start here with the pink one. I call them pink, yellow, and green. This is like not the best, but still doable. This is quite good, and this is amazing. So let's go with the pink, let's say red pink color first. We sell at 30 euros, and the example is done with a 3x of the cost of goods. Here we have a 4x, here 5x plus. Here we have 30 euros selling price. Cost of goods is 10 euros. So what does this mean? Gross profit margin. Here we see it as a yeah, live example with numbers, what I was trying to explain like 2 minutes ago. So let's go over it. 30 euros selling price minus 10 euros cost of goods. You're left with 20 euros, right? So, and here at the end, divided again by the selling price. 20 euros, which is this here, divided by the selling price is 0.66, which means your gross profit margin on this product, or if your business just runs this kind of formula, would be 66%. But now, of course, we have to deduct all the other stuff. That's why it's important to have a high gross profit margin. Because if you say, oh, amazing, my company has a 50% gross profit margin, I would actually be really scared to invest into a company like that. Because if they only have 50% gross profit margin, then you have to deduct all the other costs, marketing, office, sales, etc., etc. I think that you will go into minus and there will be nothing left, right? So let's say 66%, you can still have a plus at the end of the month. The break-even ROAS will now be 1, right? You remember, guys? Divided by the gross profit margin, which in this case is 0.66, and this is equal to 1.52. So for the first time, we now see what the break-even ROAS is. So if we have a product which we buy plus fulfillment costs at 10 euros, and we decide to only 3x the selling price, we will have a quite high break-even ROAS, which in our opinion, in my opinion, what we teach in our coaching program is too high. We always want to keep the break-even ROAS at a maximum, but this is already high for us at 1.4, never at 1.52, because it means if we have 100 euros in ad spend, we at least have to make 152 euros in sales to be break even, not even to make a profit. So that's just not good enough. Let's change to the other real life example. If you have 3x, net profit will be, after deducting all other costs, in general, guys, is averagely speaking, okay, around 10 to 15%. Of course, that's still a company which is doing a fine profit, but believe me, in dropshipping, you can quite fast go to 20 to 25% profit. We also had some very good stores with very good months where we had over 30% profit at the end. Net profit, I'm talking here, okay? That's really, really, really cool. If you have a 100K month and you can pull in after refunds 30K, I mean, guys, what's there not to like, right? That's amazing. So let's go over here again to our real life example. Yeah, here we have break-even ROAS 1.52, which is okay, it's acceptable, but not really ideal. So let's go to another example, 4x, and we also have a product which is a little bit more, I wouldn't say high ticket, but yeah, a bit better quality, or maybe a autumn or winter product. It's or a nice dress or something. It's 15 euros cost of goods by the supplier. So we will now 4x it, which means we will sell it at 60 euros, which is totally doable, and cost of goods is 15 euros. The gross profit margin is, you can actually do it once you've been doing this a few times very quickly in your head, because it's so simple. 60 minus 15 is 45, divided by 60 is 75. Yeah, 3/4 of that selling price is pure gross profit margin, which is already quite decent, 75%. And the break-even ROAS 1 divided by 0.75 equals to 1.33. This is already a very good calculation. As I was saying before, 1.33 break-even ROAS, we always in our coaching teach our students to stay below 1.4. So we have achieved this. And here in the real life example, we will have cost of goods with 4x in the yellow color. We will have a net profit of, I guess, 20 to 25%. Of course, these net profits are also vary depending on what ROAS you have. But the cool thing is the the lower your break-even ROAS is, even with a quite low ROAS, you can already achieve amazing profits. Let's say you have a ROAS of 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, you could already be between 25 and 30% profit. And that's amazing, right? You don't need a ROAS of 4 to get to 30% profit margin. When we have ROASes of 4 or 5, we always are around between 40 and 55, 52% profit. Then, of course, you have to deduct some other expenses and you come down to 30 to 40%. So let's go to our, let's say, best example here. We take a premium product, we buy it for 25 euros, we 5x it or also more. Here I also wrote 5x plus because you can, of course, charge whatever you want. It's a free market. If you can make the sales, good for you. Let's go, let's do it. Here we have an example. I buy it for 25 euros from the supplier and resell it for 125 euros. Very doable. You could actually round up all these prices. Let's say 125 can easily become 129.95. Whether the client is prepared now to spend 120 or 125, he will also spend 129 because the only thing the client sees is the one and the two. So he would spend or she would spend 121 or 129. It really doesn't matter. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but it really is a lot of money. If you have 4 euros 95 extra on every sale and you have 1,000 sales guys, that's 5,000 euros pure profit in your pockets, right? So let's say 125 euros selling price, cost of goods 25 euros. We're going to have 100 euros, which is left. We divide it again with the whole selling price. And we have a 0.8 gross profit margin of 80%. And the break even is quite simple to calculate. 1 divided by 0.8 is 12.5, 1.25, of course, in this case. So this is a delicious break even ROAS. Imagine if you don't really manage to scale well and your campaign only achieves a ROAS of 1.9, not even a 2, 1.8, 1.87, 1.92 every day, you will still have around 18 to 20% net profit, I guess, with this, with a low ROAS because the break-even ROAS is so low. So you see, having a low break-even ROAS benefits in multiple ways. Even if your store isn't performing that well, you will always be in the black numbers, guys, or in the green numbers, however you want to call it, always going to make profits. It's very difficult to make a loss if your break-even ROAS is very low. Let's make an extreme example. Let's say let's change some numbers here. I like to change numbers. Example with, let's say 30 euros. And because we are quite scared, we are new, we think we can't charge more than 60 then 2x, 60 euros. So we'll sell this at 60 euros. The cost of goods is completely crazy. It's 50%. So now we have 60 minus 30 divided by 60. So this would be 30 divided by 60, which, guys, now would be 0.5, of course, which is 50%. So what happens? Break-even ROAS goes to 2. So this is not good because if you have an average maybe of 2.2, 2.3 ROAS, you won't be making that good of a profit. And as soon as you have a Monday or a Tuesday, which are normally lower days or lower performing sales days, and your ROAS is 1.9, 1.8, you are in minus, you are in a loss, which is of course negative, right? So imagine if your break-even ROAS now was only 1.6, 1.7. You would already be positive. So never make these mistakes and think, okay, yeah, well, I can't charge more than 60. If you buy something for 30, you have to be selling this for 150 euros, 130, 140, 125. Then you make nice profits. So let's change this again because we don't want to have these ugly numbers on this sheet. So selling price, what was it? 30. Cost of goods was 10. And you can see now how quickly it all changes again. Divided by 30. And guys, you'll be really good at this after doing it for like 5 to 10 times. It's actually quite simple. So we have 66% again, which I think was 1.52, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, these are the real life examples which are very important to keep in mind. So whenever you are now maybe starting out in e-commerce and you have to calculate your first prices, you have sent the supplier a few links of products you want to sell, and you get you're going to get examples with 10 euros, 12 euros, 17 euros, maybe a very cheap product at 7 or 8 euros, including fulfillment, maybe a summer t-shirt or something like that. Don't really go for 3x. I know some people only do 3x because they say if you sell at a cheap price point, you can scale quicker. I don't really believe it. We can always scale in a very good manner, even though we 4x or 5x the selling price compared to the cost of goods price. So I would always start here and try to go to here. And with especially now autumn and winter coming up, you can easily 5x many products. And that's why Q4 is so cool because you can make amazing profits. Oh yeah, and also maybe yeah, not a negative point about Q4, but I know suppliers will now really higher their prices. I remember the cost of goods in last Q4 for us was so high, and we didn't really understand all of this so well last year. And remember, cost of goods were always between 29 and 32%, which was far too much. And even though we had ROAS 4 on many days in November or higher, our profit was only 30 or like, yeah, only still very good. But the profit should have been 50% or 45%, right? So we were leaving lots and lots of money on the table. So therefore, guys, maybe now in Q4, once you get products which at the moment cost 15 and the supplier will ask 22, no problem. Just apply this rule. 22.22 times 5 would be 110. Perfect. Make it 109.95 and start making some real profits. Okay. So if you have more questions or can't remember lots of stuff about price calculations, just rewatch this video. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel because we will be uploading more and more of these very valuable videos, which will teach you everything from A to Z in the dropshipping world. Also, join our free Discord channel where you can connect with other like-minded young entrepreneurs. Follow us on Instagram on Twin Bros Ecom. And who's looking for a one-on-one mentorship program? We have one of the best in the game. So I will put the link how to apply for that under this video. So if you're really interested and you're really serious about it, we only have a few spots every month. You can apply through that link to our one-on-one mentorship program. Okay? So I'll see you guys in the next video. It was really cool. I love to be on my calculator and do numbers. It's one of my favorite things. So let's do another video maybe on prices and profits the next time. Would be great. So see you next time.